Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troll.
(1973 to 1976). Welcome back, baseball fans. The 1973-76 Carryover League. Today, it's the National League Championship Series, a game between the Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves. Interesting way these teams got to where they got to. Let's just go and see how each team went through their season. Let's take some time and do that here. Have this opportunity. Dodgers out west. Here's their schedule. This is what they did this year. They beat the Cardinals 3-2. They beat the Padres 4-1. They suspiciously lost a best-of-3 to Seattle interleague play. Then they took the Marlins 3-1. They took the Giants 4-1. They took the Astros 4-3. So they showed a pattern of winning all year long. Okay, and then even better, when they got into the postseason tournament after beating the Giants, who were the next closest team to them. Let's go take a look at this. Right here, they beat them again, 3-2. And in theory, should have clinched the division there. However, in the second round of the tournament, the Dodgers did something unspeakable in the second round, in that they had a 5.5 game lead on Arizona, and somehow they lost 5 of 6 to Arizona to tighten up the West. And all that gap the Dodgers had was divided in half. They went from 10 over 500 to 6 over 500. And they only had to watch while the Giants blew their chance of coming back and winning the West. So with that, the Dodgers got the default division title. While that also happened, the teams in the National League East, the Phillies, faded out of the bye altogether, and the Dodgers got the bye. So with the bye, a suddenly cold Dodger team had to play in the divisional round, and they beat the Mets 4-3 in a classic 7-gamer. So one big blip against Arizona, and and they also had that blip against the Seattle Mariners. You get the idea. The Dodgers are actually a really good team who fell asleep against the lousy teams, of which Atlanta is certainly not. Now let's take a look at Atlanta's path. They started the season beating Colorado 3-1, beat the Marlins 4-1, got swept 4 straight by the Phillies. Pin that down, write that down somewhere. It'll come up big later. 4 straight losses to the Phillies. Then they lost the interleague series to Boston 2-1. So now they're sort of ordinary here, hovering around 500. They then beat the Padres 3-0, and then they lose to the Mets 4-2. So somehow they've lost in their own division to the Mets and the Phillies. So it's like, I don't necessarily know too much about the Braves in comparison to the Dodgers. But then things were going to change, because Atlanta had to beat Philadelphia 6-1. They actually beat them 5-2 to creep closer to the division lead. Then in the next round of the tournament, Atlanta beats the Cardinals 3-1. So now they're actually at the top level with the Phillies, who are fading hard. The Phillies just completely collapsed, losing 2 out of 3 to the Mets. And the Mets win the division. The Braves get the wild card. Okay, that's great. So they're the wild card. They've been in the wild card before. In the wild card round, they got Arizona, and they dusted them 3-1. You're seeing this, that Atlanta is playing really good baseball as soon as the All-Star break occurred. Even better. And then after that, in the divisional round, the shocker of all shockers, They beat the Big Red Machine 4-2, and that's the moment everything changed in the Final Four. White Sox, Orioles, Braves, Dodgers, where Atlanta had did the heaviest lifting. Baltimore brought the best record, but Atlanta beat the Big Red Machine. Dodgers beat a game New York Mets team in 7 games on a walk-off homer. That could have gone either way. And the White Sox had some easy competition against the Ohio players, but then they beat Baltimore 4-1 to show their mettle, and they're waiting to see who advances in this one. So, let's show you what's happened. Opening up in LA, Game 1, Phil Niekro, Don Sutton. We're going to have, if the series goes 7 games, repeat matchups at least 3 times. So Niekro and Sutton are dance partners. Bottom of the first, you get a Garvey sac fly and then a 2-run homer by Jim Wynn, 3-zip. Hank Aaron solo homer, 3-1. You get a single double RBI single Lopes, 4-1. Hank Aaron solo homer. He's doing all the heavy lifting for the Braves, and just not enough of it. Not enough lifting. Not enough guys on base in front of those big swings. Bottom of the 5th, they keep pecking away at Niekro. Walk single, error on shortstop Marty Perez. A double by Willie Davis. It's 6-2. And you see what's happening here. The Dodgers are just pecking away at Phil Niekro mercilessly. 7 innings, 11 hits, 10 runs, 8 are earned. This turns into a 12-2 rout for the Dodgers. And if you recall Don Sutton, he was on a 4-game losing streak while his team was winning. Andy Messersmith was carrying the torch for the Dodgers when they were wilting versus Arizona and to the Mets to a certain degree. But Sutton's back, 7 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. Easy win for the Dodgers, 12-2. Let's go to Game 2 in LA. Can they hold home field? George Stone versus Joe Decker. If you're wondering why we're seeing a number 3 starter and a number 4 starter, it's because in the previous series, the Braves and Dodgers had to play games 6 and 7, so they can't set the rotation up advantageously. So they have to somehow figure out, what do you do in Game 2 of the League Championship Series when you don't have your horse out there? Well, Joe Decker, kind of mixed results, if you want to call it that. Top of the first, it's a Frank Tepedino homer, 1-zip. Second inning, it's a Davey Johnson homer, 2-zip. Third inning, it's a 2-out, RBI double, Frank Tepedino. It's 3-zip, and we're starting to think maybe we should just get Joe Decker out of there. I mean, he's not getting blown out, but he's getting up a running inning. He's a starter 6. Bottom of the third, though, George Stone punts. It's a single. Davey Lopes would steal, scoring a Buckner double. There's a pass ball plus foul out to give an unearned run, and it's 3-2. In the 5th inning, a leadoff single, Marty Perez. Dodgers said, that's enough. Joe Decker is not really part of the Dodgers' future anyway. He was just a free agent signed from the Twins. He leaves after 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, a walk and a K. And Stan Wall comes in. He gets out of that inning. Bottom of the 5th. George Stone's still in there. It's a walk, a single, and an RBI double. Willie Davis. The game's tied at 3. Stan Wall, lefty specialist, surrenders homers to righties, but he's good against lefties. And they want him. They got Tepedino out. They want him to face Darrell Evans and Johnny Oates. Maybe they'll go to a pinch hitter. After an out, Davey Johnson's right-handed. Can you get him out and get to Darrell Evans? Nope. Solo homer. Okay. Can you get Rico Cardi out and get to Johnny Oates? Nope. Solo homer. And just like that, the Braves have a 5-3 lead. Not so fast. George Stone pulled after putting 14 men on base in 6 innings. They go into the 7th. They start it with Adrian Devine, a strikeout. You get a Yeager double, a Willie Davis single. That makes it 5-4. They go to lefty Mike Beard, who has had his struggles this year as they're trying to wait to the 8th or 9th inning for Tom House for a 2-inning save. It's not going to happen because Beard blows another hold. He gives up 2 singles in this inning. Game's tied. Then in the 8th inning, a couple singles, and then a single hit by Yeager. 3 hits in the inning. Beard gives up 5 hits, the 1-run charge to him, and takes the defeat. And the Dodgers get a comeback victory, 6-5. You kind of thought that once you get to the League Championship Series, you know, you're going to have to do some heavy lifting, some bit of heroics. All these teams, White Sox, Orioles, Braves, Dodgers, to a certain degree, they've all done heroics throughout the year. In this game, Dodgers came back 3-2, 5-3, and won it in the 8th inning. And who else? After Stan Wall and Charlie Huff, Mike Marshall got the last 6 outs. Another victory for Mike Marshall in his 1974 Cy Young campaign. Folks, may not be glamorous. You see, this team hits the ball over the wall. The 4 times they hit the ball over the wall, they scored a grand total of 4 runs. But your Los Angeles Dodgers put 20 men on base and did score 6 times. But they put 20 men on, folks. And they get a 2-0 series lead. Let's go to Hotlanta for Game 3. Got to convert a Game 3 home win. It's the battle of the most dominant pitchers presently on each team. Andy Messersmith, Buzz Capra. Because Capra dominates righties, the Dodgers empty their bench with their lefties, Horace Clarke, Biff Pocoroba, and Frank Baker. So they have 6 lefties against Capra. They feel that's the best chance to beat him. Well, guess what, folks? In this baseball game, they never rolled a 6 column on Buzz Capra. So you're just not going to get on base, and the Dodgers did not. Jim Wynn hits a homer off his own card. That's the only Dodger scoring. And Messersmith, he got knocked around a little bit early. They batted around, got 4 runs in the 3rd inning. Had a couple more in the 8th off of Jim Brewer. And it's a 7-1 victory. Not the best of series thus far. 2 of the games have been routs. One of the games was good, but it wasn't a battle of aces. It was a 6-5 affair. We haven't seen any low-scoring 1-0 games yet. It's 12-2, 6-5, 7-1. Braves win Game 3. Dodgers still lead the series 2-1. Do we get the road win in a playoff series? Game number 4. And it's going to be a rematch of Don Sutton, Phil Niekro. And guess what, folks? It's kind of a rematch in result as well, but for a different reason. Top of the 1st, Bill Buckner singles. After 2 outs, Jim Wynn hits a fly ball to Ralph Garr. Maybe it's a day baseball game, I don't know. But, he drops it. 2-base error on Ralph Garr. And then Willie Davis. You hate to see this. He literally rolled right X on the right side with Wynn and right X on the left side with Davis back-to-back. Back-to-back 2-base errors on Ralph Garr. There's a single and a double after that, and the Dodgers have 3 unearned runs. Not how you want to start the game after winning Game 3. To Ralph Garr's credit, he leads off the game with a triple. Scores on a Tepedino single. It's 3-1. Solo homer Davey Lopes, 4-1. They're getting nervous in Atlanta. Bottom of the 3rd, Garr doubles. He's got a triple and a double, but he's given up 3 runs defensively. An error on Davey Lopes and a ground ball out. It's 4-2. Middle innings are quiet, except for a Willie Crawford home run. And it's 5-2. But Sutton is Sutton again. He has reemerged as the traditional dominant Don Sutton of years past. Often, in years past, Sutton would have a losing record with an ERA of 2.05. He went to the All-Star game a year ago. He was 2-6 with an ERA of 1.80 because they weren't giving him support. But he's pitching great, and they're giving him support. 8th inning, Phil Niekro. They could have pulled him after 7. They did the dreaded, we'll leave him in there for one more batter. One more batter is Willie Davis. Solo homer. This one is 6-2. They're still not going to let Sutton get a complete game. He might be miffed about that, but you know, Don, you don't need to be Superman. We've seen that a lot in the winning championship teams. You don't need your ace to give you 9 all the time. He can take an inning off. And so Mike Marshall, who needs innings, he'll probably pitch in every game the Dodgers have a chance to win. Like this one. And they win 6-2 to the dismay of the Atlanta faithful. They take a 3-1 series lead. And on paper, we thought the Braves had an advantage, but we forgot to factor in that the Braves defense is pretty poor. And if you get great pitching, you can silence most of the bats except for the solo home runs. Had the Braves had men on base when those homers were hit, this might be a different series, but it is not. Game 5 from Atlanta. And this is a one-time affair. This is going to be the first lefty for the Dodgers. Tommy John gets the only start of this series in Game 5. 73, John was a 16-game winner with a 3.10 ERA and 218 innings. Of course, this would be before the famous injury. And the hot Atlanta Braves, well, they're down to their number 4 starter now. And this is where you get into free agent territory. And it's Bill Grief, a pitcher they signed away from the San Diego Padres, who in 73, he pitched well. He had a 3.21 ERA and 199 innings. Won 10 games for a really bad Padre team. Starter 7, good against righties, not so much against lefties. As far as the lineups go, the Dodgers are sticking with the lineup that beat Phil Niekro, as they're both righties, Grief and Niekro, and they're only going to use the lefties when Buzz Capra faces them again, if he does face them again. And for the first time today, Atlanta has changed their lineup for a lefty, which is not good. And the reason it's not good is that Vic Correll, Eddie Leon, and Enos Cabell are your number 7, 8, and 9 hitters. They're much better versus righties. Mixed bag today. Each team has their pros and cons. In a Game 5 in Atlanta, have a feeling Atlanta's going to rally at least a little bit. Maybe today, maybe we get a 6th game, maybe a 7th game. I just don't see the Braves being knocked out 4-1. They'll figure it out, you would think. Maybe the home field advantage will kick in. Leading off for the Dodgers, it is Davey Lopes. 58's a strikeout. Bill Buckner, 68, pops a second. And Steve Garvey, 47, double 1 to 11. It's a 2-base hit. Jim Wynn, 55, second X. 3-34 at second base. Makes the play. That's Davey Johnson. Bottom of the first. Dusty Baker, 33. Is hit by the pitch. Not a good start for Tommy John. Steve Yeager's a -3 arm catcher. They haven't tried him all series. Ralph Garr, 68. And there's a double 1 to 4 off of Tommy John. It's a single. Tommy John getting touched up early. Runners on the corners for Rico Cardi. 57's a K. Playing back for Hank Aaron. 6'10", third X. Ron Say, he's a 2E19. Big moment here. And they get a ground ball C off his 2 defense. Staying out of the double play and getting a run to boot. RBI ground out. Couldn't get it out of the glove, but he made the play at first. Runner at second, 2 outs for Darrell Evans. 5-10 off of Tommy John's card is gone. A 3-run homer for Darrell Evans. Excuse me, 2-run homer for Darrell Evans. 3 runs have scored. Could have been 0. Davey Johnson, 38, is a grounder to short. Top of the second. Willie Davis, 2-7, grounds a third. Atlanta has a weapon in their bullpen. His name's Tom House. He's one of the best closers in the sport. He's hardly been used because the Braves have not needed him. But I'm telling you right now, they're not going to let Bill Grief lose this game. And so House might get a 3 or 4 inning appearance if it comes to it, just to get this thing into a Game 6. Ron Say, 45, homer 1 to 2, fly ball. And Steve Yeager, 57's a K. Bottom of the second, it's Vic Carell. 37 is a K. Eddie Leone, 59. Triple 1 to 3, base hit. Enos Cabell, 512. Second X. Lopes, a 312 at second base. It's a single. They're on the corners with one out. They'll bring it up. Dusty Baker, 68. Base hit right field. I think we got another lousy game coming up here, folks. Yeah. Ralph Garr, 33. Pitcher B. Runners on the corners. 2 outs. Riccardi, who pops to first. 4-0 Atlanta. Tommy John's put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 men on already. Willie Crawford, 35 is a walk. Russell, 2-6 is a double play. And Davey Lopes, 45. Homer 1 to 2 again. Flies left. Well, the decision to not use your lefties has cost you 2 hits. A 4-5 on the left side is a triple-double. They did not decide they wanted to do that against Bill Grief. Hank Aaron, 2-4. Short. Darrell Evans, 2-8. Ks. Davey Johnson, 1-9 is a walk. Vic Carell, 56. Short X. Russell's a 2E29. It's a single. Eddie Leone, 48 is a walk. Enos Cabell, 1-5, pops to short. Point of weakness for a guy getting lit up early is about through 3 innings, 10 hits, or 8 hits and 4 walks will do it. Make it, add 3 more guys in the 4th, and that'll do it as well. John's put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on thus far, so he's not near it. Bill Buckner, 2-11, pops to third. Steve Garvey, 1-2, low max. Jim Wynn, 48. Single 1 to 6, lines a second. This looks like the Dodgers of years ago, always having fun needling them for their ineptitude, and they're reverting to that form today. Whilst otherwise, they've had a fascinating season, really overachieving and just playing great baseball. But unfortunately, you folks don't get to see that. Or fortunately, you don't get to see that. 5-12, Dusty Baker, second X. Lopes to 3E12. There's another error. Baker, you want to... No, that's not going to steal. Ralph Garr, 112. That's a base hit, but he's hurt. That might be a good thing, though. Gets him out of the outfield, where he made a couple errors yesterday. All right. Garr singles, limps down to the first baseline. Runners on the corners, nobody out. They need a pinch runner, and they're going to need an outfielder. Well, you can put Rico Cardi out in the outfield. Ouch. Let's do that for the following inning. As far as the pinch runner goes, let's put Marty Perez in there, and then move, Davey Johnson to DH. Rico Cardi on the corners, nobody out. Base hit left field. First and second, Hank Aaron, 1-8. Center. Darrell Evans, 47 Ks. Davey Johnson, 69. Scott center field. 5-0 Atlanta in the 5th. It's Bill Good Grief. Willie Davis, 39 singles. Ron Say, 38. There's a 5-4-3 double play. And Yeager, 53, first. Maybe the Dodgers want to party in L.A., you know? I mean, they're up 3-1. And just maybe, the booze is better out in Hollywood and the champagne and everything. And I just don't feel like popping corks in Atlanta, Fulton County, Maybe that's, teams are they have their weird, sort of suspicions and whatnot and superstitions. 5-0 Atlanta, bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, Tommy John will continue. Vic Carell, 2-5, grounds the third. Eddie Leone, 57's a K. And Enos Cabell, 1-6, lines a third. We will go to the 6th inning. Grief with a 2-hitter. Willie Crawford, 57's a K. Bill Russell, 310, flies to right. Davey Lopes, 69, flies to center. Well, the Dodgers can get, 18 runs off of Phil Niekro in 2 starts. Can't even score against Bill Grief. Bottom of the 6th, it's Dusty Baker. 1-7, that's gone. 6-zip. Gar, 59. 1-5, misses it. Not Gar, Perez. Triple 1-3, it's going to be a single. Cardi, 37, walks. Aaron, 67, pops to first. Darrell Evans, 48, single 1-17, gets it, I'm done. That's it. Tommy John, 5 1/3, and it's time to get out of there and do something else. Charlie Huff will come in the game with the bases loaded and 1 out. Charlie Huff with the Dodgers in 75, had a 2.95 ERA. It's in 61 innings. Sort of just starting to work on the knuckleball during this part of his career. Walks a lot of guys, as you would expect. He'll face Davey Johnson with the bases loaded and 1 out. 2-5, it's a 6-4-3 double play. Way to go, Charlie Huff. Stays 6-zip. Bill Grief in the 7th. His point of weakness inning, Bill Buckner. 3-10 right. Steve Garvey, 1-5 short. And the Toy Cannon, 2-10 is gone. Solo homer, 6-1. He had a garbage homer in the Capra start as well. Willie Davis, 2-4, ground to second base. There you go. My goodness, folks. Stretch time here in Hotlanta. We are enjoying Little Feet. Sailing shoes. It's so easy to slip. Cold, cold, cold. I'm willing. Apolitical blues. And, yeah. Another great LP by the wonderful Little Feet. Back to the game. Bottom of the 7th. Charlie Huff will continue. Vic Correll, 1-5, hit by the pitch. Eddie Leone, 67, walks. Enos Cabell, 2-7 Ks. Dusty Baker, 57 Ks. And with 2 outs, Marty Perez, 63, pitcher B. We go to the 8th inning. Bill Grief, solo homer through 7. Ronce, 44. There's another home run. It's 6-2. And you know what? I think that's what we'll do. We'll call that after 7 and a batter, and we're just going to go house now. House money. Tom House will come on in the 8th with a 4-run lead. Needs to get 6 outs. 74. He was 6-2 with a .92 ERA in 103 innings. They're not going to fool around with this. They need a victory. He will face Steve Yeager in the 8th inning. 69 flies to center. Willie Crawford, 2-7's a walk. And Bill Russell, 2-12. Right B, center B plus injury. He will leave. Frank Baker will take over defensively at shortstop. And Davey Lopes. 2-11 hit by pitch. 2 on 2 outs for Buckner. 6-11 first X. Cabell's a 3 at first base, and he makes the play. All right, Huff went inning and 2/3. We'll go Jim Brewer again in the 8th inning. 6-8 with an ERA of 3 and 72 innings in 1973. Brewer will face Cardi. 68's a walk. Hank Aaron, 42, comebacker to the mound. Darrell Evans, 64, flies a center. Davey Johnson, 58, flies a center. 6-2 in the 9th for Tom House. 4-run lead. Atlanta's on their feet. This could be the last time they see their guys. It's been a great year. Steve Garvey, 56, flies left. It's certainly not over. I mean, they beat the Big Red Machine, for Pete's sakes. Jim Wynn, 35, walks. He goes down to second without a throw. Willie Davis, second X. This is Marty Perez in there instead of Davey Johnson, but it's a single anyway. 2 on for Ronce. He skies a center, and Yeager strikes out to end the game. While the Dodgers attempted to put some guys on late, but to no avail. And the Braves do it again. So we'll come back with the box score of this game, and then game 6 and 7 if necessary. Atlanta will get a boost as they're going to have a nice pitching matchup. They're going to have our boy Buzz Capra in 6 against Messersmith. And in 7, it's George Stone, Joe Decker. So that is pretty competitive pitching for Hotlanta on the road in LA. And I could see the Dodgers falling asleep in their own park. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. All right, welcome back, baseball fans. We're picking up in game number 6, live baseball. As it's going down, it is Buzz Capra versus Andy Messersmith. It is a pitcher's duel. But in the first inning, a Buckner single, Willie Crawford 2-run homer. Willie Crawford, they've tweaked the lineup yet again against Capra, with Buckner and Crawford 2nd and 3rd, Davis and Horace Clark 5th and 6th, Pocoroba Baker 8th and 9th. They got the righties Lopes and Say on the bench. They got a 2-run homer in the first. Meanwhile, Messersmith, a couple singles, Strands a double, Strands a triple, a single and a double play. Through 6 frames. Pretty much the same number of base runners for both clubs, but the Dodgers have the 2-0 lead on the homer. We'll pick this thing up right here in the 7th inning. And it's Darrell Evans leading off. 5-10 off Messersmith as catcher's X. Live baseball. Possibly a clincher. That's a foul out. Rico Cardi. 3-6. Center. And with 2 outs. Johnny Oates. 1-5's a single. And your tying run, number 9 hitter Marty Perez. 47 on Messersmith. Single 1-2. And he lines out on a 5. Andy Messersmith has delivering a shutout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hitter through 7 frames. 2-0 game, bottom of the 7th, and now the music is switched over to, well, when you go to LA, they often bring out the Royal Scam. They dropped this on us after, what we were listening to it down in Atlanta. Makes sense, But that's what we got today, folks. Dodgers fans are rabid. I mean, they're 2 innings away from going to a World Series. They haven't been to a World Series in 6 years. Last time they were in a World Series was against the Detroit Tigers, and they lost that in 7 games. By the way, Game 7 of that World Series is in a YouTube video from a decade ago. Like 2015, I posted that thing a long time ago. So yeah, that does exist. Getting ahead of myself, let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning of a 2-0 affair. Buzz Capra. The mistake in the first, otherwise he's been fantastic. He'll continue into the bottom of the 7th. It's Bill Russell. 1-8, homer 1, fly ball, and it's a fly ball. Biff Pocoroba. 6-10, third X. Darrell Evans a 3E23. He kicks the ball for an error. Now, in an interesting moment, you have your choice of pinch runner in this situation. Ronce has already entered the game for Frank Baker at third base. Lopes is on the bench. He's got to get into this game at some point, and now seems to be the time. He'll pinch run for Pocoroba. So we have Speed at first and Davey Lopes a pinch runner, and then we'll get Steve Yeager to catch somewhere in this lineup. Ronce's the batter. Lopes is at first. Do we attempt a stolen base with 1 out? Now let's let Ronce hit away. 69 Ronce, second X. Now this is trouble. Davey Johnson's a 3E34. And that's a single. Like I said, Atlanta's defense. Long playoff series, you're going to need it. You're going to need your playoff. You're going to need great defense to stop rallies and not begin rallies in this case. Bad defense in this case. Ronce single. So Lopes at second, Say at first. Back up top to Jim Wynn. Here's the pitch. 57's a strikeout. And with 2 outs, Bill Buckner, a lefty, this is an opportunity to go to house. If you want to, just saying. Championship moment here. The lefty. Though Capra has been your biggest winner, unfortunately, you don't have a base to put him because you have back-to-back lefties. You can't walk them both. So Bill Buckner, let's take a look at the card. This is the championship moment. The decision to pitch to Buckner, down 2 with 6 outs remaining in your season. He hit .314 in 1974 with 30 doubles. You know Lopes is going to fly from second. The thing is, you got two guys you want to hang your hat on in Atlanta. One is Buzz Capra, the other's Tom House. And it's hard to figure out which hat you want to use. Here's the news, though. Capra's chances have improved because lefties Baker and Pocorobo are out of the game if this thing actually goes 8, 9, or extra innings. And there are 2 outs. So I just want to let Capra pitch to this guy. Might be the wrong move. We'll see. Buzz Capra will stay in there to face Bill Buckner with 2 outs in the 7th inning. And here's the pitch. 2-7. He gets him to ground to third. That's on a plus, but there was nobody. You had runners at first and second. So the plus wouldn't matter. 2-0 game into the 8th. Andy Messersmith. We need to get the catcher in the game. And then we got all the defense and all the players on the Dodgers would be in the game. You could take Jim Wynn out. He was the, you don't need him in the outfield. Oh, Horace Clark's due up. Lefty, righty, lefty. Yeah, I would take Horace Clark out. Yeah. So that Yeager would bat in the 8th if it goes to that. All right. Really heck of a baseball game. Low scoring, finally. 2-0. Dodgers, 2 batters more than the Braves and 2 runs ahead of them. Into the 8th. Top of the lineup, Andy Messersmith, 4th time around. Ralph Garr, a triple in 3 at-bats. Here's the pitch. 69, flies to center. Dusty Baker. 55, second X. It's Lopes. He's a 3-E-12. He makes the play. And with 2 outs, Frank Tepedino. 69, Messersmith gets him the sky to center field. Now the Dodgers are an inning away from going to the World Series. Lefty, righty, lefty. Capra will pitch through to at least Garvey, and we'll see what happens. Here's Willie Crawford, the star of the game. Fans on their feet here in the 8th. Here's the pitch to Willie Crawford. 39, grounds to short. Steve Garvey. 310 is a fly to left, so that allows him to pitch to Willie Davis. 54, line to second, Buzz Capra. That was the move. Leave him in there. He's done a great job. 8 innings, a 2-run homer in the first. Nothing else has happened. We go to the 9th, and here's that big decision. Do you do the Mike Marshall thing because you always do the Mike Marshall thing? Or do you go off script here? You've got the 40 home runs of Aaron, the 43 home runs of Davey Johnson, and the 41 home runs of Darrell Evans to deal with in the 9th inning. You got a guy throwing a 6-hit shutout. I think in this particular situation, I am going to allow Messersmith 2 base runners so I can then hook him so he cannot take a loss. But I think that Andy Messersmith has deserved. Plus, they're up 3-2 in the series. This isn't Game 7. So I'm going to let Messersmith go for it. 2 base runners will hook him. And the deeper we get into this lineup, the worse it gets. So if you can get past these 3 batters and not give up 2 runs, that's what you want to do here. Hank Aaron, today he is 0 for 3. He is your MVP. This could be the final at-bat with his 1973 card. Let's take a look at it because we haven't looked at it in the previous game. He is your MVP. He leads the league in homers and RBIs presently. 40 homers and a 301 average in 73. The last time he would hit 40 homers in his illustrious career. Big moment here the 9th. Can you get on base? Can you hit a home run? Here's the pitch to Hank Aaron. 3-5. He does what he needs to do. Get on base with a walk. Now we got a baseball game. You got 40 and 40 chances of tying this thing. Beginning with Davey Johnson. Let's look at him. He's had a home run in this series. Hit 43 of them with a 270 average in 1973. This is how Atlanta wins and loses. Either they're hitting a home run or they're not. Here's the pitch to Davey Johnson. 411 is left X. It's Buckner. He's a 1-8. You should be able to make the play And he does. The 1E8 converts. Next, on the home run parade. He's got 41 of them to match his uniform number. That's Darrell Evans. Come on down. You're the next contestant in the home run derby in the 9th inning of the National League Championship Series. 281 average, 124 walks, and 41 home runs. However, it is in 719 plate appearances. So when you look at the card, you're actually thinking, okay, it's great, but I wish I had a little bit more homers and a little bit more walks. The ratio, it's so many plate appearances that it doesn't look as glamorous as you think it's going to look. Is the way I would express it. Darrell Evans, and a lefty does not matter. He hits more homers versus lefties than righties. So here's the pitch. Darrell Evans, Andy Messersmith. 68 is a fly ball to right field, and with 2 outs, the Braves' season is in the hands of Rico Suave. No, it's Rico Cardi. Let's take a look at him. Was with Cleveland in 75. 18 homers, 383 at-bats, a 308 average. Tier 2 on the homer sheet, joining Dusty Baker, who hit 21 in that, that second level. Rico Cardi, Andy Messersmith. For all the marbles, folks. Can you really shut out the Atlanta Braves in a playoff game? We're about to find out. Here's the pitch to Rico Cardi. 3-7 is a ground ball to short, and that does it. Andy Messersmith delivers a complete game to the horror of Atlanta. If Buzz Capra gave a 2-run homer in the first, you're thinking this thing's just getting started. But Atlanta had nothing. They didn't bring their bats to LA. And the Dodgers win another series where they were the home team. They walked off a Game 7 versus the Mets. They win a Game 6 versus the Braves, 2-0. We'll take this right to the post game. Wow. The Dodgers are going to the World Series against the Chicago White Sox. 6-hit shutout, Andy Messersmith, 2 walks and a strikeout, complete game. Buzz Capra. Well, you know what? The good news. He's coming back next year. The final year of his 74 card. Brilliant divisional series against the Big Red Machine. Brilliant league championship series against the Dodgers. Getting a split. I think it was a shutout. Oh, he gave up 1 run in his complete game earlier. 6 hits, the 2-run homer in the first, a walk and 5 strikeouts in a complete game. Wow. Well, that's good baseball, folks. 1009-0108-2606. The series got better the longer it went. It's just we couldn't get it to 7 games. It's not been the best league championship series. Matter of fact, the best series in the last 2 rounds was easily Mets-Dodgers. If you have an opportunity and you haven't watched the Mets-Dodgers broadcast, you might want to check that one out. That is a thriller. Four games to 2. White Sox Dodgers. And you know what? The TV networks are going to eat that up. Chicago and Los Angeles. That's like Bulls and the Lakers. That's like Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson, for Pete's sakes. So huge TV ratings in the World Series this year, folks. All right. Enough of that. Dodgers are now 31-22. Hitting .270. 3.59 ERA. Messersmith has caught Sutton wins. They both have 9. Sutton's 9-7. Messersmith 9-4. However, it looks like Messersmith has a better earned run average. Mike Marshall is 6-2 with 12 saves in 39 innings, leading all relievers. Home runs, Jim Wynn is 10 with 31 RBIs. Leading hitter on the Dodgers, Bill Buckner's got 67 hits. As does Steve Garvey. They're an ensemble piece, the Dodgers. I can't look at one thing here and hang my hat on it. It's just a bunch of little pieces that work in unison. to get them 9 games over 500. Again, it's a modest total, but you got to remember, they lost 5 of 6 in Arizona in a freak chance that no team really can lose 5 out of 6 the way it's set up unless the one team is terrible. And Arizona is awful. So they got to keep playing the Dodgers, and the Dodgers were just like, let's just end this series, and you can't end that series until we have confirmed that Arizona has a worse record than you, and the Dodgers just could not subdue them. It was they could not put Arizona out of the misery, and that affected the one-loss record of the Dodgers. So that's sort of the inside scoop there. How about the Atlanta Braves? They fell short again, 30-22, just a half game behind the Dodgers, really, hitting .289 with a .404 ERA. Capra caught Negro and wins with 8. Plus, Capra had 4 complete games, and yes, his ERA is better than Negro's. So the number 2 guy, the Robin, is better than Batman on both the Braves and the Dodgers. And Tom House is like Mike Marshall South. Mike Marshall, Georgia style. Hank Aaron's 21 homers and 59 RBIs leads the sport as his card is over. He'll have a 74 card, and then a 75 card, and that'll be it for him. Davey Johnson at 15 home runs. 61 hits for Dusty Baker. No, it's Ralph Garr. Ralph Garr, what a 86 hits to lead baseball. Ralph Garr hit .371. 86 hits for Ralph Garr. That might be in 52 games. So he outdid his batting championship card of 74. He also had 12 triples. He had 17 in a full season. He had 12 in 52 games. Ralph Garr was really on the MVP list as well, notwithstanding the one defeat where he made 2 errors on back-to-back plays. We want to forget about that. 31-22, 30-22. Let's go record this down here. Dodgers 4-2. 31-22 and 30-22. I believe, right? Should be correct. Let me just double check that one more time. 30-22. 31-22. That is correct. Yeah. So these two teams are 12-9. And these two teams are 11-8. And your World Series and home field is the Chi Sox. So, big news here. White Sox get home field. They were +9. They caught Atlanta, and of course, Atlanta failed, and they were ahead of the Dodgers. So, the White Sox, plus they also beat the team with the best record 4-1. So the White Sox, how about that, folks? The World Series will begin in Comiskey Park in Chicago. Wow. Dodgers 9 over, and the White Sox are 12 over. How about that? Dodgers are a 2 seed, and of course the White Sox are a 2 seed, matching seeds as well. So the best teams in each league based on record going into our playoffs were, of course, the Big Red Machine, who were stunned. Baltimore was beaten pretty handily by the White Sox in I guess you call it a minor upset. But your World Series is the LA Dodgers versus the Chicago White Sox. And I think I could bring this up. I believe these teams played a World Series a long time ago. We can go find that out by going to the franchise encyclopedia. It's easier to find on the White Sox, as they don't have a lot of World Series appearances, as you can imagine. So let's go down here. The 1959 World Series. It'll be a repeat of the Dodgers and the White Sox. In that one, the Dodgers won 4-2. It opened up in Comiskey Park. So there you go. I'm pretty sure nobody played in this one is still around in our league, in our timeline at least. White Sox win game 1. Dodgers take home field away. Hold on to it, hold on to it. Dodgers are up 3-1. White Sox battle back, not enough. Dodgers win game 6 in Comiskey Park. Okay. Different cast of characters in that one. Ron Fairley's still in our game. Anybody else? Stan Williams was in our game like a couple years ago. White Sox. Louis Aparicio is still in our game. He was with the White Sox then as their shortstop, everyday shortstop there. Norm Cash. Very young Norm Cash. Is still in our game with the Tigers. There you go. Fun stuff. We'll have a World Series preview coming up for another time. But right now, break up the LA Dodgers. LA, they're going back to World Series after 2 lousy finishes in the previous 2 by beating the Braves 4-2. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.